How to put together your piston filler if you take it apart. You need a rubber grip thing, bicycle inner tube, piece of tire inner tube is fine. You need some silicone grease, and I like to use a long toothpick to apply it with. Put that over there. I like to start with the piston knob and this thing. Just thread it in, thread it in. Okay, I don't have a ton of finger strength, and this is a little bit slippery. So what I like to do is grab it here, and with this one, grab it here, and give it a little extra zhuzh. All right, that's done. Now what you can do if you want, you can put a little bit of grease in there. Not a big deal, not necessary. It might help make it feel a little bit smoother. Then you take the barrel and you take the middle part of your piston unit. Now these are left-handed threads, so these go in backwards. So instead of righty-tighty, it's lefty-tighty. And this shoulder here will stop against the shoulder here inside the barrel. And then I like to take this, give it a nice little extra twist, and then here you put the barrel knob on, the piston knob. Leave a little bit of a gap, not a lot because it doesn't take much. That's 1.5 millimeters. And then you take, this barrel's not finished. Then you take some grease, put it in there, put a little bit on your O-rings because they all need to move nice and smoothly. You're gonna have to give it a little push. It might be a little hard to push in, but that is okay. And then you push it in and kind of rotate it so that the piston fits into that middle part nicely. And then you just screw it home. That's not enough. So I'm gonna push my finger. I'm gonna push my finger against this as I unscrew this a couple of times. And you can see it's still not in far enough. So I'm gonna unscrew it until, and you're gonna feel it click as it sets back into place. Let's do it so it only clicks once because this gap is getting smaller, and the back of the piston rod will actually butt up against the inside of the barrel knob, piston knob, so you don't want to let it come out too far. One click, screw it back in. And you can see we're getting closer. That's maybe 3/8 of an inch, less than 3/8 of an inch. We're gonna go one more click. I don't know how much clearance I have. There we go. Now see, it won't get tight now. That's because the back of the piston rod is touching the inside of this. So what I'm gonna do is, there we go. And I do this before you get your pin, so you don't need to do this. I like to cut off the end of it, just a little bit, and then push it, put everything back in there. And let's see. Alright, so that's still, it's very close, which is, and we're just a little bit off. So what I'm going to do, instead of pushing it against here, I'm going to just let it go out. I'm going to just close it just a little bit more to give me less space. This is the fiddly part, but play with it and you'll get it sorted out. Now we're nice and tight. It's not going to come open accidentally. The gap here is very small, which means we have like the maximum amount of travel. And there's plenty of grease in there, so you don't need to add more grease unless you're just feeling greasy. And then I put some grease on the section threads. Doesn't take a whole lot, really. Alright. And then you send that sucker home, and you are good to go. And then the piston will actually butt up against the back of the section, and you have a nice positive stop. Yo! And if you want to clean it in the future, instead of taking it all the way apart, just turn the knob until, and you can kind of tap it. There we go. That way you don't get this part out of too far out, so it makes it harder to set the piston rod back up later. Just rinse it out and shake it out, and that should let it dry, and that should be good. You don't really ever need to take this out of this. There's no point. In fact, I thought about gluing those in, but I don't like to glue parts together. A little bit of shellac maybe here and here to hold it in so that you can use heat to take it out. Thank you. Have fun.